We're live here at the Richmond Coliseum for this CAA championship matchup between the Drexel Dragons and the VCU Rams. We'll have all the excitement coming up on 8 News. Everyone, of course, is looking to bring home that checkered flag tonight, but perhaps no one wants it more than car owner Rick Hendrick, looking for that elusive 200th win. His team hasn't visited victory lane in 14 races. Despite not being able to play today because of the weather, the Hokies remain in good spirits. Coaches and players say they've had a successful spring season and are looking forward to the fall. It's been a tough start for the Richmond Flying Squirrels, now 1-3 after getting their first win of the season yesterday, and now the team and the fans patiently await the outcome of the matchup between Indiana and New Mexico State to find out who VCU will play on Saturday. So we are hoping that if that's the case and the rain holds off for the rest of the evening, we may actually be able to start on time. We'll have more coming up in sports on the race. For now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio. For the game tonight. Now, last year during the run to the Final Four, this place had a major problem with fire code and actually has made some changes now to accommodate everybody and make sure that everybody here gets a great experience watching the VCU Rams and cheering them on. We'll have continuing coverage. Stay with 8 News for all of the updates for the NCAA tournament on television as well as online. In Richmond, Veronica Romoser, 8 News. The main event isn't until tomorrow night, but the excitement certainly is building here at Richmond International Raceway. Now, last night they kicked off the racing with NASCAR's developmental series, the K&N Pro Series. And for one local high schooler, that meant his dream had finally come true.
I don't talk about it too much at school, but my good friends know about it, and I think some other people are starting to figure out what I do.
After making his racing debut Thursday night at Richmond International Raceway, many more of his classmates may now know what Sam Hunt does. The James River High School senior has been racing since he was just 6 years old and says he's always dreamed of being able to race at Richmond.
It means the world. I mean, it's a dream come true, just being from Richmond, growing up here, and coming out and watching the races as a little kid. It's something that I always wanted to do. I figured I was probably never going to do it, and just to have the opportunity to come out here and be on this great venue is it's a dream come true.
Thursday's race was just the third of the K&N Pro Series, and the 18-year-old is already up for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year.
I really haven't thought about it much. I really haven't focused on the points or anything right now. I'm just focusing on learning how to drive these cars, how to drive these big tracks, and I'm just trying to let that stuff come with it.
Hunt finished 25th Thursday night, but his victory came from having his friends be able to come out and support him.
It's nice that they can just pack up from school and drive 15 minutes to the racetrack. They can't do that very often.
Now, qualifying is going on right now for tomorrow's race, and coming up on 8 News at 6, 8 Sports anchor Yanni Caracas will have a full preview of the weekend's events, including an inside look into Denny Hamlin. Live at Richmond International Raceway, Veronica Romoser, 8 News. He's the pride of collegiate football. Former NC State player and Wisconsin star quarterback Russell Wilson came back to his home turf this weekend to host his first passing academy.
I just wanted to get with the community and like community of collegiate and the community just in general in the area of Richmond, and just share my experiences, share the lessons I've learned in college, and it's been great so far.
About 75 boys came out to practice, and some say Wilson wasn't exactly what they expected.
Well, I thought he would be like a little taller because most quarterbacks are like usually taller because they need to see over their offensive linemen.
When you're undersized,
but Wilson used it as an opportunity to teach his young players about overcoming obstacles.
I asked him that question, but he just said that you need to just drop back far enough and get on your toes.
They asked some pretty funny questions, so it's pretty funny, pretty entertaining how smart these kids are.
Wilson says he's happy to be able to give back to a community that gave him so much.
I'm blessed, to be in the situation I'm in. I'm blessed to have gone to the schools I've gone to and have a great opportunity to play in the NFL, and so it's been a blessing just to be able to share those moments with these kids. Is pretty awesome.
There's no doubt the experience made an impact on at least one young player.
I used to like wide receiver, and then I wanted to be quarterback, and just so I could like talk to Russell Wilson and be in the same drills as him, and now I want to be a quarterback.
Wilson hopes the academy can become an annual tradition. In Richmond, Veronica Romoser, 8 Sports. For the Bilney twins, playing collegiate ball hasn't been exactly what they expected.
Plan A was supposed to go like this, go to the same school, play basketball for 4 years, have fun, do as best as we could. It wasn't to go to the same school, watch each other sit for as long as we have.
Rachel and Sam have alternated being injured, keeping at least one of them out of the game for the past 3 years.
Injuries are a part of playing basketball and part of sports, and so as it happens to you, deal with it and you learn to get through it.
For the first time since their freshman year, they're finally playing together again on the same court.
It's a blessing to be able to come back out. I think for the both of us, it's been a long time coming.
They've had 7 surgeries between the 2 of them.
I think that's actually even brought them closer, and they feel each other's pain, and they support one another through the rehab, through academics, through if they're having boy issues, whatever it is.
The Bilneys never imagined this would be the hard part of college.
Somebody told me that 3 years ago that the challenge would have been on the basketball side of it. Really, but you don't see those things coming.
They say being twins doesn't necessarily give them an advantage.
I'd like to think we play well together because we've played so many games together. I don't know if we have some sort of special powers. We used to joke, we call it the twin vision on the floor. It's something we can always somehow find each other. We're obviously on the same page a lot, but I don't know if I can read her mind.
Finally, both healthy, they're picking up right where they left off.
This whole twin phenomenon, really, it's real. I mean, we've been watching it now for 20 years, even though they've had a couple of years where they haven't been able to play together. Immediately, they're connected again.
Rachel and Sam just want to move forward, focus on the rest of the season, and stay on all 4 legs.
Now that we're together, that's all that matters. It's all about enjoying it and making it last as long as we can.
In Richmond, Veronica Romoser, 8 Sports. After a disappointing 5-11 season featuring the services of John Beck and Rex Grossman under center, one thing was abundantly clear. The Redskins needed a new quarterback. Yes, among other things, but still the most important position in the game was priority number 1 for owner Daniel Snyder. And late last night, word came down that Snyder rolled the dice on a franchise QB. The Skins made a deal with the St. Louis Rams to acquire the number 2 overall draft pick in the NFL, most certainly to take Baylor quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III. Now, the Skins did give up a lot in return, their number 6 overall draft pick and second-round pick this year, as well as 2 more first-round picks the next 2 years. Now, you may say this is the same old Daniel Snyder, but keep in mind the Skins do have some money to spend on free agency, and with the new rules, RG3 won't be a financial burden. In short, the Skins needed a franchise quarterback, and they think Robert Griffin III is that person. And speaking of football, if you're in need of a pigskin fix, head over to the Richmond Coliseum tonight. The Richmond Raiders begin their 2012 Professional Indoor Football League season, taking on the Columbus Lions. We'll have highlights for you at 11. A high school basketball dynasty is forming in Lawrenceville. Led by former UVA great Bryant Stith and his 2 sons, the Brunswick Bulldogs returned to the state championship for the 6th straight year today. Stith trying to win back-to-back titles as player and a coach. Brunswick dominating Cave Spring in the first half. Brandon Stith on the jumper. He had 12 points. Bulldog up 9. Still in the first now, some good Bulldog defense. Brandon on the floor gets the steal. Shaquille Jones to Alfred Mason for the big slam. Brunswick goes into the locker room up 23-11. Now on to the second half. Cave Spring trying to make a comeback. Connor Baker for the triple. He'll take the lead down to 12, but it was all Brunswick from there. Less than 3 minutes to play. A steal by Mason. This time it's Broderick Stith with the dunk. And with the game well in hand, Shaquille Jones will steal it again all the way down the floor to slam home the 48-33 victory. Brunswick is back-to-back Division III state champions.
We wanted to have an opportunity to defend our state title. We were successful. The main reason is because these guys who has championship experience. They knew how hard we had to work.
When I was a ball boy and when I was on the sideline watching Dad lose his first 3 state championship, once we got to school, I looked in the eye and said, Dad, I'm gonna help you get one. And now that I actually helped him get 2, that's even better. He's a wonderful coach, but he's also a great father.
They couldn't have won without a great coach.
Meanwhile, not the result the Petersburg Crimson Wave wanted last night in the 3A boys state title. Petersburg fell to Hampton 66-49. It was another stellar performance from Central Regional Player of the Year Frank Mason as he dropped a game-high 28 points. Despite trailing the entire game, the Wave tied it up late in the third quarter, but the Crabbers would pull away from there. Still, Coach Rick Height says this loss doesn't define their season.
If you measure yourself to be successful by a scoreboard, you're not going to be too successful. I think our guys have displayed a lot of discipline, a lot of courage all year long, and tonight it was no different. You know, obviously we wanted to win, but we didn't. And I want them guys to know, in my book, they're winners, and forget what their scoreboard says in that case.
Still to come, the VCU Rams patiently await their NCAA tournament destiny tomorrow. We'll tell you some possibilities of where VCU could end up after the break. Welcome back. At about this time tomorrow, the VCU Rams will be huddled in some room, anxiously awaiting their name to pop up on the NCAA tournament bracket. Yes, Selection Sunday is finally here. And unlike last year, it's not whether or not VCU's name will be called out. Instead, it's what seed, against which team, and at what location. Right now, the bracketologists have VCU in the 11 or 12 seed range, which means they would play a 5 or 6 seed. Possible destinations, you ask? Well, pack up the car. Nashville, Greensboro, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Albuquerque, Omaha, Portland, or Louisville. 8 Sports will be there with the Rams tomorrow. Tune in for full Selection Sunday coverage. And the UVA Cavaliers also await their tournament fate. The Cavs are backing into the tournament, losing 3 of their last 4 games, including yesterday's ACC quarterfinal matchup to NC State. The issue with Tony Bennett's team is health and depth. Bennett only has 7 healthy bodies right now, and that includes Joe Harris, who is playing with a broken hand.
Obviously, we would have liked to have been playing, a little bit further. The ACC tournament is such a great tournament.
We're just going to wait, and hopefully we've shown enough and competed, and we'll be one of the fortunate ones to be chosen.
I've never been to the tournament, so I'm just hoping they put us in there.
And that'll do it here for sports. I'm Veronica Romoser. Stay tuned. More news is up next. Well, it seems like an eternity since VCU last stepped on the basketball court, and in some respects it has been. With the student athletes focusing on exams this week, a full 8 days will have gone by between their last win over Richmond on December 9th and tonight's matchup with UNC Wilmington. VCU is seemingly hitting their stride in the early portion of this season, winning 5 of their last 6 games. The last time we saw them, of course, was that convincing 22-point win over the Spiders. Tonight's CAA conference play begins against UNCW, a team the Rams beat twice last year. Highlights of that one tonight at 11. When Virginia Tech takes the field at the Sugar Bowl on January 3rd, it will be the 4th time a Frank Beamer team will play in the New Orleans Showcase. Tech beat Texas back in 1995, lost to Florida State in the championship game there in 2001, and fell to Auburn by only 3 points in 2005. Beamer says the program's familiarity with the bowl was certainly a factor in the team being selected there.
We played for the national championship there, and we beat Texas there and played an undefeated Auburn team there, and that probably should have been playing for the national championship that particular year. So I think our relationship with the Sugar Bowl people played a factor in this thing also.
Everybody was calling me saying we might go to Sugar Bowl, and I was kind of like, it's a prank. Nah, don't tell me we're going to Sugar Bowl. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We just got to go out there and win this last one because I want to go out with 12 wins and be in the winners class in Virginia Tech history.
More from the Hokies tonight at 11. As the sun set on Augusta National, the 76 Masters tournament had a brand new champion, and certainly with no lack of excitement getting to that point. At the end of 4 rounds, 2 players sat tied atop the leaderboard, Louis Oosthuizen and Bubba Watson. A missed 10-foot putt on the 18th hole by Bubba could have won it, but a playoff would decide who will take home the coveted green jacket. Trapped in the trees on the second hole of the playoff, it seemed Watson had no chance. He couldn't even see the green from where he was standing. But a hook shot landing safely on the 10th green set him up for an easy 2-putt, holding back tears. He taps it in to seal his victory. The 33-year-old winning his first major after being awarded his new jacket. The University of Georgia grad had just one thing to say.
First off, to all my fans, you got to say, go Dogs. This day means so much more than putting on this green jacket in many ways, and but it's a special time to do it here at this tournament.
And we'll take a look at the final rankings of the 2012 Masters Tournament, finishing up at 10 under par and taking the 2-hole playoff. Bubba Watson, the South African Oosthuizen, finished second, a 4-way tie for third at 8 under with Lee Westwood, Matt Kuchar, and Peter Hansen. Also in third, Phil Mickelson. Fred Couples would finish tied for 12th. Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods just falling apart at the end. Woods boasting his highest career Masters score, both tied for 40th. And last year's champ, Carl Schwartzel, finished tied for 50th. Now, with just 3 practices left this spring, the University of Virginia football team is treating this week as a dress rehearsal for the upcoming season. The team held an open practice Saturday here in Richmond, finishing off their tour around the Commonwealth. The thought is playing at different arenas on the road helps prepare the team for road games and energizes the fan base. Head coach Mike London is trying to keep the momentum going following last year's 8-5 run and an appearance at the Chick-fil-A Bowl. London says this year looks promising, but there's certainly still room for improvements.
We're moving in that point of our spring practice where a lot of things are in right now, looking for guys to execute, eliminate the mistakes, the alignment mistakes, the little silly things sometimes that can get you beat. And, I think we're further along than, when we finished last spring, but looking for improvement, but also trying to find depth, trying to find those guys that can play, and then getting ready for, the last practice of the spring.
The annual Orange-Blue Spring Scrimmage is Saturday at Scott Stadium. Coming up after the break, Squirrels struggle early this season, but what does that mean for young prospects? We'll be right back with more. And that'll do it here for sports. I'm Veronica Romoser. Avajoy, back to you.